Good evening, everyone. The Human Relations Commission meeting is in session now. Call to order. Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening, everyone. We would like the roll call at this time, please.
Commissioner Frank. Present. Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Mayor Heath. Present. Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Harvett. Present. Commissioner Patton. Present. Commissioner Boone is absent.
Excuse for an absence for Commissioner Boone.
I motion to excuse Commissioner Boone.
Second, Commissioner Patton.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Ramos,
Yeah.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Heath. Yes. Commissioner Harvett. Yes. Commissioner Patton. Yes.
All right, approval of the regular minutes for July 26. We have received them, and I'd like to have a motion to receive our minutes, and at this time, the roll call.
I motion to approve our regular minutes.
Second,
Second, Cavazos Frank.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath. Yes. Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvett. Yes. Commissioner Patton, yes.
A motion to accept the agenda or any additions to the agenda. We have one. The mayor has one that we'd like to add to the agenda. And she is going to be speaking to us about ethics rules. So we're going to add that on, and I'd like a motion for that, please.
I'll make the motion
To,
to add some time for the mayor to talk about the ethics during our agenda.
need a second?
I second, Commissioner Harvett.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath. Yes. Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvett. Yes. Commissioner Patton, yes.
The treasurer's report. I'm sorry. The regular meeting agenda with the necessary changes for the ethics to be added to new business. I need a motion.
I motion to approve the agenda with the mentioned adjustments.
Second,
I second, Commissioner Harvett.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank. Yes. Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath. Yes. Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet
Yes.
and Commissioner Patton. Yes.
All right, our treasurer's report is the same. So we'll just agree that we have that since our commissioner is not able to report. So we don't need to make a motion on that. Old business discussion, we're going to start off this evening talking about the training, diversity, equity, and inclusion update. And I'd like to hear from Commissioner Arvet.
Okay. We have, the training is prepared, by the state of Michigan. We have the Director of Michigan Department of Diversity coming, Alfredo, Hernandez. It's going to be held 2 days, November 4th from 5 to 7 at Weber Center, and November 5th, Saturday, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So that is reserved at Weber Center. The snacks and the lunch are going to be provided for us. So we need to talk about, this is for the city employees. So how we want to invite them.
Recommendations, please, for us inviting the employees for the city. Do you all have any recommendations of how we should approach that?
Have we contacted the department heads to have the information kind of go down through them?
We need to do that. We need to send it through the departments, and what I will do is get that information and send them a request, or I can go in and speak to the administrator and have him do it. But I'll make that contact if you all would want me to. Is
A
that-
small flyer with the information to leave with them, like a quarter page thing? is
We
usually
usually
helpful.
put a flyer together because we have to post it because it is a public meeting for us. So when we put that together, then we can submit it. But I do need to talk to the administrator to let him know that it's coming. So if you all will give me permission to go ahead and do that. So the change that we made was the 5 to 7 PM instead. That was at the direction of our speaker, our director from the department. He said it would be easier for him if he did it 5 to 7 instead of going late to 8 o'clock. The other thing is he usually does 4-hour training for the amount of money that he's requesting. And he's given us 5 hours instead, because he said he need to have 2 hours on Friday and the 3 hours we can do on Saturday. So that was some of the changes that we made on that. Now, we don't have lunch. We have to discuss this. The lunch portion is our responsibility. That means that we would be putting, getting food catered in.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna have a box lunch on that Saturday.
And so with the box lunch, we have to pay separate from his fees.
Mhm.
So his fees is $1,500. And then in addition would be probably close to, depending on how many people we have, anywhere from $200 to $300 or $400 for a meal,
Okay.
for lunch and snacks. That's all day.
Right.
So we're gonna have snacks in the evening,
Mhm.
and then we're going, which we can purchase from the Dominicans, and then snacks on Saturday. Now, the food comes in on the lunchtime. So what is your pleasure in terms of the food? You just want us to take care of it, the committee?
Yes, yeah. I mean, but our budget covers it, doesn't it?
Well, we hope our budget will extend because we're doing more than one event. So right now, we have enough to cover this one event.
Okay.
So we do have the money for that. We're going to talk about money for the other events as they come. Our speakers are not going to require money for the other training
Hmm.
so far. So it's just a matter of having some food and snacks and paying for that. And the venue has not charged us for being at the Weber Center. So that's a blessing. So
I was gonna say we could, ask people to just bring a lunch, but the thing is, if you're asking them to come to this, I think we really need to feed them for that reason.
we will.
And that's why, yes, and yes, I think if the committee just goes ahead and handles that, I mean, at least I'm in agreement with that. I think that sounds like a great plan and I do believe I've been to several trainings there at Weber Center before, but they'll have like coffee, water,
We'll have,
tea, all of that out there as well. So there
Yeah.
will be the snacks and drinks.
yes,
So-
Yes.
the
they
snacks will
have
be
that.
all day.
Right.
And we will make sure that that's available.
Mhm. They'll have
And
snacks
the-
Friday night too.
And Friday
Yeah.
evening, along with, they did say coffee, tea,
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah.
other water will be available
Yeah.
all day long. So with that in mind, is there any questions that we have about it? We have the director who's going to do Hernandez. He does have an assistant that usually comes. He's not sure if she's available because of her prior commitments. So if she can come, it's still the same amount of money. We don't have to add or take away. So that's a good thing. So if you would take a vote for a motion and a vote to approve the training, and then we'll go ahead and submit to the city the amount of money that we need. We will find out how much the costs of the snacks are, and then the committee will come back with a complete report in the September meeting. We will have all the funds that we're going to have, okay? Any questions?
I move to approve the request for the training.
I second the motion.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
All right, that takes care of that, and the committee will make sure that we have everything in place for you by the next meeting. And we will start our pre-meeting, so we will be able to discuss any questions that you may have at that time. And we'll give you an update on the people that are hopefully that are going to attend. All right. The next, we have update the trauma training scheduled meeting is for October the 15th. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We already secured the Weber Center again for this occasion. We told them between 15 and 20 people. We may add more. It depends on how many people that we can reach out to. We also thought about, because of the sisters at the Mother House were interested in the trauma training as well, if we are open to inviting others to participate in that. So that's something we can think about. We don't have to make that decision tonight, okay? Because we didn't invite them yet. But if you all are willing for us to do that, we will invite them to participate, and the numbers will change depending on that and whether the city is going to participate as well. So the trauma training, I've contacted someone from mental health, and they're going to be getting back to me this week. She said she has some different people that would be willing to do the training, and she's going to give me an update this week. And as soon as she does, I'll send you all out the information so you're aware of it, and then we can move forward on that. So again, this is something that I want you to submit back to the committee as well, that we finish and finalize that and come back in September and give you all a full report. Is that all right with everyone? Okay, we don't need to vote on that this time. Okay. The next thing we have on the agenda is a review and an update on the bylaws. And the subcommittee members that are going to be working on that is our vice chair, Commissioner Ramos, and also Commissioner Frank and Commissioner Patton. So you all can speak now.
All right, so the quick update is we'd been waiting for a couple of documents to make it to us. We received them, I think last week, we got the second one. So now that we have access to the documents to look over, we'll be adjusting, we'll be looking at the bylaws again, along with these other documents to put something together. So we don't have much to present right now because we still have a bit of reading to do, but we are anticipating come next month, we will have something.
Okay, and then we can have the discussion during the pre-meeting. And that way we can come up with some decisions about how to proceed. We also were able to have them sent to us and presented to us at the last meeting. So please go over all of the ones that have been presented. And if you have any changes or you have some suggestions, please submit them to the committee. And can you do that as early as possible so that they can have that to work with? I know I had some things that I looked over that I would like them to consider. So we will put that in place for the committee to do. Any other questions about the bylaws? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next agenda item. That's the next town hall meeting schedule. We did not place it in a schedule, but we'd like to know if we're going to have another town hall meeting before the end of the year, or are we going to go into 2023? So what do you all think?
I think with the trainings that we have between here and the end of the year, I think holding off on trying to plan another thing's probably a good idea.
There's quite a bit still, and we're thinking still, we have to remember that December, we don't have a meeting. So we really don't have many things going on. We do have something each month. We have something in October and November schedule. And we were trying to think about trafficking. Is that something you would like to talk about right now?
November 17 was the one date we had looked at from 6 to 7:30 on human trafficking. And I do have a group that'll come, Sister Marilyn, and a group that she knows from here would be willing to do that November 17 from 6 to 7:30. But if you think that's too much, you want to schedule it for 2023, I can check and see what dates, would be available.
And this is a Thursday evening.
It's a
instead of
Thursday.
a weekend. So if we would like to participate in that, we will have had our diversity training. And then that would be the one before our regular meeting. And if you all want, we could move it into 2023. Or we can think about it and make that decision next time. We just need to let the people know.
That's the thing. It would be good to let them know earlier than
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
so.
I
They
just
could
looked
get-
up and saw that National Human Trafficking Prevention Month is in January. Maybe lining them up with those would,
Say it a little bit louder.
Human Trafficking Awareness Month is in January.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that would be a good
Maybe
time
we can
to,
see what time in January that would be
January.
available. That means we will have to get the space, or we can have it here
Yeah. I thought
at
it'd be-
City Hall.
And I have attended one that was back during COVID days, so it was on Zoom. And it was a human trafficking one that was put on by several of the sisters.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was very eye-opening, informative. I think it is it is something that is happening very close to us. It, you know, it happens here as well, but it's happening very, very close. And so I just wanted to put that in, that I think it would be great, but I will agree with Commissioner Cavazos Frank. I really think we're already we're asking for so much that I tend to want to say I would like to put it into January, and now knowing that it is that awareness month, I really would like to try to put it into January if at all possible. Because I just feel like it, even though it's not much that we have to do for the town hall, I just feel like it's a lot of extra commitments and asking people to come, and are they going to come as they get close to the holidays? It is sometimes can be, and in January, they're kind of bored and more willing to venture out to things just because they're not so busy and tied up with other things. And I really like to, you know, obviously town halls are meant to be for really engaging the public and bringing awareness and bringing them in. And I just feel like we have a better chance if it goes into January.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's an excellent idea. So if you would talk
Gotcha.
with
Yeah.
our presenters and see
Right.
if they can do that in January. And we don't want to be too close to the beginning. So that give people time to adjust to change of year. Okay, so let's come up with more than one date as well. So we have choices. We don't have to, but when you talk to them, ask them if they have
What
more
dates
than
they
one
would
date
be.
that
Uh-huh.
they can
Sure.
share with us. We're looking at if it's a town hall that is through the week, it's not a
The week.
weekend.
Right.
So that it's here at the chambers.
Okay.
So that's the plan that we're having at this time, that we do that one. Okay, that takes care of the town hall meeting, and we're targeting January 2023. Okay. All right, our next item is the annual meeting information and the nomination of officers, chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and secretary pro tem. We added this at the last year and a half ago, and it was very necessary to have. And if we want to add this into our bylaws, and I think we can because we all voted on it, that it can be a part of our bylaws. So what do you all think?
I think it is helpful to have a secretary pro tem, so at the very least, you know who the backup is, rather than having to ask whoever is still there who is interested. I think it's better to have someone designated already.
And the pro tem is the fill-in person. Now, how we've used them since our secretary returned is they both operate during the meetings. And that works out good for someone to be taking notes and typing or whatever they're doing, and someone else to do the roll call for the votes. So I am very excited about having this position continue. So at this time, what we need to do is have the mayor handle. I have to step back and let her handle the officer nominations and also selecting the officers. Since I am an officer, I need to move back and let her take over that spot. So if at this time, Mayor, if you're ready, we can go forward.
I'm going to begin with the chair. And just to be aware on this, obviously, I do not do any of the nominating. As I'm a member of this, but it's not, I serve in a different capacity on here, so that's why she's handing it over to me as well right now. So are there any nominations for chair?
But Mayor, let me say this, if there's a tie, you have to be the
Right,
tiebreaker.
right.
Okay.
So we're on the nomination portions. All
Yes.
right, I'll nominate myself for chair.
You can't nominate yourself for chair.
I'm pretty sure,
Someone has to nominate you.
pretty sure you can nominate yourself.
Nominations? Oh, I'm sorry. You're in charge.
I nominate Andrea Bernard for chair.
I'm pretty sure I can nominate myself. I do nominate myself. If anyone else would like to, I would love to hear that, but I'm pretty sure I can.
We let it stand.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, yeah. Are there any other nominations for chair? All right, so for our nominations for chair, we have Commissioner Ramos and Commissioner Bernard. I guess what we'll do, Lindsay, is we will go, Commissioner Patton will go through with a roll call on for what, and we'll just say who they would like to vote for that position, instead of going through each one with Ramos, will yes or no, we're just going to go through, or Bernard, yes, no, we're just going to go through and you can call through everyone except me. And then they can give their nominate, or I mean, their vote for which person for chair.
And this is just a general question, Mayor.
Yes.
Can you abstain? Can you abstain? This is a general question, Mayor. Can you abstain or not?
If you
I'm
do,
just
if you do, we just may not have enough votes. It has to be majority. That's
correct.
I am not aware. I think you can abstain when it comes to this. Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking a general question.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So do you want to go through with roll call and
Commissioner Frank,
Commissioner Bernard,
Commissioner Ramos,
Commissioner Ramos,
Commissioner Bernard,
Myself,
Commissioner Harvet,
Commissioner Bernard,
Commissioner Patton, Commissioner Bernard.
so Commissioner Bernard will be the chair again by a 4-1 vote. Moving on to I'm going off my phone screen, sorry, there we go. Going on to the vice chair. Are there any nominations for the vice chair? At this time, we will take those nominations.
Commissioner Ramos, of course, nominate Commissioner Ramos.
Any other nominations? Roll call vote, please, for Commissioner Ramos to be the vice chair.
Commissioner Frank,
yeah, Commissioner Ramos,
Commissioner Ramos,
Oh, no, he's kind of weird, but yeah.
Commissioner Bernard,
yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
So Commissioner Ramos is the vice chair by a 5-0 vote. Moving on to secretary, are there any nominations for the position of secretary for the Human Relations Commission?
I nominate Cavazos Frank.
I nominate Lindsay Patton.
Are there any other nominations? Do you both accept if you were given that position?
I would not.
You would not? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So since Commissioner Cavazos Frank removed herself from that position, we will now do a roll call vote for Commissioner Patton to be the secretary. Go ahead with the roll call vote.
She should do it.
She can do it. It's fine.
Mhm.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes,
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes,
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
So Commissioner Patton will be the secretary by a 5-0 vote. Moving on to treasurer, are there any nominations for the position of treasurer for the HRC?
Commissioner Boone.
He's not present. You have to, you can't.
Yeah.
be-
Yep. Or we can, if there are no nominations, we can fill that at a later time and he can fulfill it until then. Are there any nominations for this position? So we'll just hold off because you would have to accept any other nominations, or let's do a roll call vote to table that one until the next meeting for the position of treasurer. Go ahead. And yeah, thank you.
I would like to make a motion to table that until the next meeting, till September meeting.
I'll second that.
So go ahead and have a roll call vote on that.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yeah.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
Moving on to the position of Secretary Pro Tem. Are there any nominations for the position of Secretary Pro Tem?
I'll nominate Cavazos Frank.
Do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations? So for the position of Secretary Pro Tem, Ashley Cavazos Frank has been nominated and will now at this time do a roll call vote. Thank you.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvet,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
So Commissioner Cavazos Frank will be our Secretary Pro Tem by a 5-0 vote. And as stated before, we will vote on the treasurer position at the September Human Relations Commission meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we'll go into our new business. The first part of the new business will be resolutions presented by one of our commissioners. And it's Commissioner Frank, if you would present the two resolutions that you've given to us. Some of you may not have read them, but if you would like, she has given us a copy of them. And I'd like her to discuss them at this time.
Okay, there are two resolutions that I am putting up for discussion and review. The first one is a resolution of support for the city of Adrian to fly ceremonial flags for Black History Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, LGBTQIA Pride Month, Juneteenth, Hispanic Awareness Month, and Native American Heritage Month. The second is a resolution of support for the city of Adrian to prohibit imagery associated with hate groups recognized by the Southern Poverty Law Center and federal government on city property and at all official city events. I sent the draft, the e-drafts of these in an email, so you have that to review, and then you have these two. Both of these are brought on behalf of the community, people that I've spoken to, so these aren't like Commissioner Cavazos Frank puts forth these motions. I'm just the representative of the groups that brought these forth. So just for your review, I think it would be better to have all of us have hands in these rather than split it off into a committee. I think it's important to have the full spectrum of the HRC's opinion on all of this rather than just a few of us. Because it does represent the entire, like the entirety of these communities is a huge, they're marginalized communities, but if you put them together in the way they're affected by these two resolutions, it's a huge part of our community. So if we could review these, do you need me to Yeah, I think I'll probably make a motion.
I
to
think
talk about it.
what we want to do is to table this until the September pre-meeting
Mhm.
where we can have a full discussion
Yep.
on it. And also while we're doing that, review it and any suggestions that you may have. How do you want us to do that?
I think just bring them to the September meeting since it should be a.
Just wait until the September meeting when we have discussions.
Yep. I think
Okay.
That's fine.
All right,
Yes.
so I'm open for us to table this until the September meeting, pre-meeting, so that we can have a discussion and
Can I just comment?
yes, ma'am.
And one thing I had been looking into, like I told you, I've been looking into the flags and trying to come up with some great ideas at City Hall and so one thing I looked at is I did look up, so this might be one way that you don't have to just say certain groups, is I looked up all of the national months, like the nationally recognized months. And it encompasses all of them you have here, but it encompasses a few more. They may not have flags, they may not, but at least then you're encompassing everything. There literally is something every single month. Sometimes there is more than one on a single month, but I did look that up and there is a list and I can send that to you because I was actually looking into that as well of how to state that, you know, and yes, and be very concise and make sure that it's inclusive to all. And I was definitely looking into that as I was also presenting this on trying to make sure that these flags are flown outside in a certain spot. So, but that is just one way. So I just wanted to make sure that just to let you know, and it's just good too to say, hey, these are nationally recognized months, and that is why, and that'll be the parameters to set so that you're not getting some outside funny, anything that might be coming in saying, I want to put a flag up at City Hall. Then we can say, nope, it literally, it is set that it is for the nationally recognized, and there, you know, there is a list out there. It's easy to find really quick. So that way that helps with that as well.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because that's why I worded like real specifically the hate groups recognized by the Southern Poverty Law Center and the federal
Right.
government. That way,
Mhm.
really specific, and people can't say, well, that rainbow flag's a hate group too. Like it would be
Mhm.
very strict parameters with stuff like that, but yeah.
And the other thing that's important for us to do is to make sure that we have input in how we not only present it in a resolution, but also to make sure that we contact the agencies and groups in the city that we may know of. We may not know of everybody, like she's saying. We may not know every group. So maybe we can, you know, in the process of next month, try to get a hold of different ones so that we can make sure that we see what's going on. Okay. Now, the other one, you want to talk about that one? Or that was just both of them? We're going to do that way.
Yeah, we'll just do both of them that way.
Okay. All right. So then I'm open for a motion to table this until the pre-meeting. September.
I make a motion that we table this resolution until September's pre-meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Harbit,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
All right. One thing that, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. One thing that I did not add, and I'm going to wait until after the mayor speaks about the ethics to talk about the Open Meetings Act. Michelle was able to send me a copy of it, and I think I forwarded it to everyone. So you all see that. So we'll talk about that afterwards. Application for HRC. We're looking for new members. I have an application here so that you all can see. It's a 2-page application and it is online. And if you have someone that you know might be interested in being a part of our group, please have them submitted to the city and they will forward it to me. And Michelle, you're the one that gets the original one. Okay, and then she will forward it like she did this time to me and the mayor. And so if you want this application to take with you tonight, you can and present it to someone, have them send it to us as soon as possible. The sooner we get people on board, the better. We did receive one application since our last meeting, and we'd like to thank that person for submitting. We won't talk about the person until after the city commission votes to approve. So once they vote to approve, then we will mention everything, Mayor.
And that will be on the agenda at the next meeting, but there is an extra week because the way it falls, there's 5 Mondays in August. So it's not until the Tuesday after Labor Day because we don't have a meeting on Labor Day. So that will be on the agenda for that first Tuesday meeting for the city commission in September.
Okay. So if you know anyone, please tell them how to submit, look online. If they're having difficulty doing that, if you would pull something off and print it off, help them work it through or walk it through to help assist them. Okay. All right. So Mayor, you want to talk to us about the ethics?
So this is something that I was waiting for our annual meeting and, you know, I do apologize. I was not here in July and we didn't have the annual meeting then anyways. And this is something that we're trying to do at the city level with the commissions. This was just done at the annual meeting for the DDA as well, which is now called DDA Main Street, but they did it as well. So it's nothing you're going to sign tonight. It's just like we like to have you sign this ethics and values code, really look through it. It's things you're going to already know. It's just something that, you know, we've gotten new members since we've done it last, and, you know, we need to start doing it. And that's why DDA realized they really needed to start doing it as well in other groups, at the other commissions as well, because that is one of our commissions, is just because there's new people. And and it hasn't been something that we've been doing. And since we have annual meetings, it's the perfect time to be and you know, I'm not going to lie. I've read through it and I always feel like I find something new in it. You know, you just kind of forget after a while, like, oh yeah, that says that in the ethics. I've kind of forgot about that. So, you know, read through it and, you know, and I would really, you know, and just bring it back at the next meeting. And if you have any concerns or questions or anything about this, you know, you can reach out to me. But this is something that was passed way before my time, by the way. This was before me. That was something that was, and actually, I think it originated from this group. Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that came, but it originated here.
Yes.
So it literally originated with the Human Relations Commission and thinking, you know, and because there's a lot in here about making sure that you are treating and everyone with respect and being inclusive to all. And there's a lot in here about that. So, but, you know, I wasn't even here then, you know, and many of you weren't. And, but it's always just good to have a refresher on it. And it's something that we're really going to try to be doing with, you know, DDA kind of was the catapult for starting this. And I think it's something that every commission needs to be redoing annually, just like they are. And so that was the plan, but it got waylaid a little bit with some of the craziness this summer. But so I will pass that out at this point. Is there any questions though on that? Okay. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate that, Mayor. She's going to pass them out to us at this time. So think about it and look it over and make sure that you have this as part. I think we probably need to have a training on this. If we could, maybe in one of our pre-meetings to set aside some time that we go over the Ethics and Values Code. All right. Because there is a policy that's several pages that started in 2009, so we really need to go through that. All right, thank you for that. Are there any other concerns or questions before I talk about? Oh, I did want to tell you that we did finalize the investigation. I haven't heard back from the city commission on whether they accepted our report on the investigation that we did for November 6th. So I already gave the hotel their letters, and I've written a letter for the two complainants. And I just want you all to know that I'm going to mail it out to them so that they have that. Mary, you wanted to say something?
Well, I don't think we thought there was any action. I had talked to the city administrator. I mean, I think because of presenting it to the city commission, that was the acceptance and they knew, and then it was sent to them. So sorry about that. It was definitely accepted.
Okay. The other thing that we're going to talk about is the Open Meetings Act. How many really understand what the Open Meetings Act was? I know it was brought to my attention when I was on the Zoom meeting in June that I had violated. I went back and reviewed it. I did speak during the time of the public speaking. So, and I think I did answer something earlier. So I just want to say I apologize for my not paying attention to that more. So I think what we need to do is maybe talk about this again in our pre-meeting and make sure that all of us are on board, and we will pay more attention to that. And I just thank Mr. Banky for bringing it to my attention because I didn't even think about it. So that's what I had. Does anyone have anything else to say about the Open Meetings Act? Okay. So I will present something at the next meeting. We won't have it at the next meeting, but I'll put something together for us to do some quick training on it during one of our pre-meetings in the next few months. All right. Anything else before we go on? If not, we are down to public comments. Comments are solicited and are free to come forward before this commission. And it's 5 minutes. You're allowed to speak. We're going to ask those that are present in the room that they will speak first, and then the people online. Anyone in the audience would like to speak? Give your name and your address.
Robert Banky, 256 Ironwood Drive in Adrian, Michigan. Just to raise a comment about your months. So National ADD Awareness Month is in October, National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, National Physical Therapy Month, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, Spina Bifida Month, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Month. And then there's also Mental Illness Awareness Week and Malnutrition Awareness Week in October as well. So I would strongly recommend that you make some hard choices and firm those up, because someone's going to say spina bifida is more important than another one. And those are going to need to be weighed. The lesson that I want to give today is a little bit of an English lesson and a lot of hope and inspiration. When you're writing a sentence, an author can choose to end the sentence with a period, as we all know, or the author can pause and use a semicolon and then carry on their thought and continue. And the reason I say that, and the same reason that I have a semicolon tattooed on me, is that Sage Nieto, a student a graduate from Adrian High School, chose not to use the semicolon. He chose to put the period and end his life. Sage was a great student. I had the opportunity to meet him when one of my first weeks at Adrian Public Schools. He graduated, went off to the UP to study, came home, had issues associated with his sexual orientation, and chose to kill himself. As an educator for 26 years, I have buried too many students that have struggled with sexual orientation. When I myself have dealt with issues of sexual orientation, when I was a kid, I couldn't join the army because I was gay. I couldn't get married, and I could not see my partner when he was in the hospital because I was not married. I was not a family member. Since that time, we have been afforded numerous rights, and we see these opportunities before us. And this board is my hope, my inspiration, that you'll use your collective voice to help move the city forward. And I've talked about the great things that the city has done in the past and hope that that continues to happen in the future. However, we need to remember that with this week's upcoming Pride event, and with it being posted, how many comments are we up to now? Over 150. There are haters out there. And as a young kid that is going to be walking downtown, or someone that's going to scroll across that and is so interested and excited of going to their first Pride event, or knowing that there's other gay people in town, or like, what's this all about? To then be subjected to the hate that's out there, I fear that they will not choose to use a semicolon, and that they will use a period when there's so much pressure out there, when a state representative in Oklahoma is running and advocated for stoning to death of gays. We as a city have an opportunity to stand up not only for this opportunity this weekend for Pride, but to celebrate Hispanic Awareness Month, all the other months that we have a history of doing so, and doing it proudly and on the flagpole and in the streets, so that everyone can see it and everyone can be proud of their diversity, not to be suppressed, not to be marginalized. And with that, I look forward to continued support from you to push the city commission to continue to advocate in the positive. Thank you.
Any other public comments in the chamber?
Gordon Gauss, 448 State Street. I just want to remind everyone that November 8th, there's a very important general election. We have many, many things that we need to decide on. There's the governor's race, there's ballot measures for reproductive rights. All of these should be important to all the citizens. I also want to mention that on Thursday, September 22nd, there will be a candidate forum at the Weber Center at 6 p.m. and I encourage everyone's attendance. Thank you.
Repeat that date again for us, Commissioner.
Thursday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. at Weber Center.
If no other from the chambers, we open it up to public comments on Zoom. Hearing no comments, we open it up for our commissioners to have comments at this time. Commissioners?
I'll follow up for the Pride event that is this weekend. It's Saturday right here in the Croswell block. I know it's called like the 100 block or something like that, but I don't go by addresses. I go by what can I see? So it's the Croswell block. We're going to have a parade that's going to start at the plaza, like the old Country Market Plaza, and come up and towards the courthouse and back around here downtown, and hopefully encourage the crowd to kind of follow with us and join the parade and come to the event downtown. And then at 2 o'clock, the stage opens with Mr. Banky will be speaking for us and opening up our event. And then we will have live performances until 9 or 10 o'clock. And then we're gonna open it up for a dance party with a DJ and just to enjoy each other's company and celebrate the community downtown.
Okay, the parade is starting at what time?
Parade kicks off at 1.
1 p.m.?
I'd like a clarification of where the parade starts. You mean like over by Family Dollar and Comstock?
Yeah, yes, that's, sorry, I
Yes, those are
remember-
the things that I see over there.
I remember when Country Market was there, so I dated myself.
Yes, it was there.
I've lived over there and it wasn't there at the time.
And the celebration would come downtown and be in this block. And it will be open until 10 p.m. Okay. And that is Saturday, August 27. Okay. Other commissioners? Oh, no, you want to talk about October?
On October 2nd is the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which I've reached out to Marcia. She is the chairperson, and mentioned something to her in regards to some of us attending, maybe passing out brochures. And so maybe that would be an opportunity for us to show our faces out there. Just throwing that one out there as well.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioners? All right, announcements.
All right, Commissioner Ramos here. I'll just announce a couple of things, starting of course with Saturday. There is Pride, there's Pride Parade. Before that, I'll be in the parade. It's gonna probably be sunny and I'm probably not gonna be real happy about being up that early, but I will be there. And I will be happy to say hi and wave to anyone who wants to come visit. And I'm sure that I can convince the person I'm walking with to allow a little bit more space if anyone's really interested in that, but I will for sure be there. And other than that, I will of course mention that second Friday is of course second Friday in September, which is the 9th. And A3 will be doing things at that time. We'll be happy to see some of you out there. And I'm sure some of you are already aware that we will be out there. But we're excited to see y'all. And that's all I have to announce for now. But
And
I
the
may,
date is September what?
it's the second Friday in September, which is September 9th.
Thank you.
And of course, besides that, I may or may not be knocking on your door within the next month or two, but if you know what season it is, that's not surprising.
Okay. All right, other announcements we have. Bethel Church has sponsored Praise in the Park for a few years. That will be worship and singing and just having a good time in the park. It will be at Island Park on this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. So if you have time, stop by. This Thursday, Lenawee County Expungement Fair, the NAACP is sponsoring this event this Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lenawee County Courthouse. Anyone that has a case that's 5 years or more older and they would like to get their case expunged, what has been set up is free service from a lawyer that won't cost you anything. $50 cost for the fingerprinting is free. and $50 for pulling your records is also free. So if you know anyone that is interested in getting their case expunged, please look online in Lenawee County NAACP, or you can contact me as well, and I can give you that. I do have one flyer if someone would like it. And we are going to help people to be able to get things resolved in their lives, as long as it's 5 years. Okay, anything else we'd like to announce? If not, motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Common consent?
I.
Aye.
Favor? Okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.